Yeah, I'm just handing these out.
Oh, you're handing those
Yeah, we
out?
have cupcakes down in the lobby if you want some.
Man, are you kidding?
Not
Awesome.
at all.
I will get the announcement made.
Appreciate it. Morning, how are you doing? We have cupcakes downstairs if you are interested.
Cupcakes.
As do I. In the lobby, yeah, right downstairs.
Oh, thank you.
Can't miss it.
Yeah, but the individual constitutional due process rights, it doesn't matter. You know what? I don't think that's a legitimate ticket. You know, for whatever circumstances, you paid for a mobile app that the city's not recognizing or whatever. You go ahead and file that appeal with the city. Now, what's most interesting is you don't even get a receipt saying that you seek to have those numbers or anything.
You have to leave soon.
Oh, okay.
You have to stop filming and have to break this up.
Okay. What would be the reason for?
That's straight from the mayor's office.
Oh, I mean, they're invited. We just.
Well, we have to break it up.
We just invited them to come down.
This was not. No one knew that you was coming.
Right.
This just has to be approved.
Oh, okay.
This wasn't approved by
Okay.
an official.
These are
We have to break
cupcakes.
this up.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Any final questions or anything? Or
So the,
We need all of this back. All the cupcakes and handing out cupcakes to get answers and interviews. Wrap it up. This is it. I'm in the mayor's office. That's it. Thank you.
all right.
We'll wait until you finish.
All right.
We'll wait until you finish.
Side.
Thank you very much.
no problem.
Standing in front of the city-county building that we just got kicked out of. A few minutes ago, we had set up a whole thing with cupcakes. We had made those available for anyone coming through the area. Also, as you can see, balloons and the whole bit, thanks to the Fulton Paper Company for the balloons. We were being interviewed at the time by the media, and the security came and said that by order of the mayor, we had to leave the building. So why were we here? We're here to mark 1 year since the city last allowed a case to go to JP Court, a parking appeals case. And so we have this proclamation. This might help to explain everything. Proclamation marking 1 year since the City of Wilmington last allowed a citizen to exercise their constitutional due process rights, Wednesday, July 19th, 2023. Whereas the City of Wilmington decided to use parking enforcement as a source of revenue for the general fund in the late 1990s, and whereas the city dissolved municipal court in order to better control the appeals process without any kind of judicial oversight, and whereas the city created an Office of Civil Appeals which does not have any judicial authority nor training, but rather acts as an administrative process without oversight, and whereas the city is incredibly inconsistent with communicating responses to those who appeal questionable parking tickets, and whereas those whose appeals are denied by the administrative process are theoretically given the opportunity to request a hearing in JP Court 20 through the City of Wilmington, and whereas the City of Wilmington appears to ignore those requests by drivers to have their case heard at JP Court, and whereas the city contracts with a variety of collections agencies to pursue individuals for unpaid parking tickets, whether the tickets are under appeal or not, whereas the City of Wilmington and the State of Delaware Division of Motor Vehicles signed a memorandum of understanding in 2009 that prevents people with unpaid parking tickets from renewing their vehicle registration, and whereas by ignoring appeals, the city is able to add late fees, causing a $40 ticket to under appeal to become a fine of more than $100, eventually collected either through collections agencies or through the DMV. And whereas the city collected nearly $300,000 from drivers through that memorandum of understanding with the state of Delaware in 2022, whereas the City of Wilmington stated in a Freedom of Information Act response that it does not keep records of those who request an appeal of their parking ticket to Justice of the Peace Court. And whereas the City of Wilmington last brought parking ticket appeals to the Justice of the Peace Court on July 15, 2022, now therefore be it resolved, we the people who live, work, play, and pray in the City of Wilmington recognize the way in which the city is raising money through a combination of inefficiency and obfuscation with absolutely no regard for constitutional due process rights. And we the people who live, work, play, and pray in the City of Wilmington recognize the complicity of certain city and state officials in this scheme that subverts constitutional rights in an effort to raise revenue for the city, including but not limited to the Wilmington Department of Finance, the Wilmington Law Department, Wilmington Auditor, and State Department of Justice. And we, the people who live, work, play, and pray in the City of Wilmington, will continue to offer recognition to the city and state officials responsible for this scheme on a regular basis until the City of Wilmington reforms its practices to allow citizens their constitutional rights to due process. And finally, we, the people who live, work, play, and pray in the City of Wilmington, remain ever willing to work with city and state officials to work towards a fair and equitable system of parking enforcement that protects the rights of all concerned. That's the proclamation. I will say that if I were in charge of the legal department in the City of Wilmington, I would look at reviewing this entire system and making sure that people get their constitutional rights to due process, going to the JP court for their appeals. If I were the city auditor, I would want to audit this. If I were a city council member, I would certainly have questions. If I were in the Attorney General's office, I would certainly be raising questions and possibly opening an investigation into this. And finally, if I were working for the Department of Motor Vehicles, Division of Motor Vehicles, I would probably want to review that memorandum of understanding and maybe put that on hold until this issue can be resolved. So that's basically what we're looking at today. Again, we were just kicked out of the city building a few moments ago. Hopefully we'll be back in a couple of weeks and maybe bringing up some other issues. We'll see. Thanks so much for tuning in as always. Have a great week.